party. Our Arcadia takeover is a marathon, not a sprint. We're all in the Sprat race together. Soon enough, Praetor's midnight moonscape will be lit like high noon with anti-signage. Now, on to other things. This is one of my favorites, though admittedly I'm far from discerning.
Oh, I am the uncomplicated loner
of scientism. Warmest courtesies, fellow ascendants. Please collaborate in ponderance of our former protectorate colleagues. To consider them simply as adversaries is intellectually lazy. They are a subjugated population, incurious, cognitively atrophied. What horror! The protectorate overseers have much to answer for. Lest you forget why we parted professional ways, they pacify their subjects. Correction, they stupefy them with depressive pharmaceutics and relentless propaganda, unlike us. Our sum is greater than our parts. We collaborate with unforced enthusiasm for scientism, and of course to avoid undue criticism of our theses at peer review. Our estranged colleagues, meanwhile, pit neighbor against neighbor, courting one another for nothing more egregious than independent thought. Of this, we have ample evidence. Protectorate rank and file have washed upon our shores sputtering testimonials of so-called mental refreshment, a process wherein citizenry undergo chemical thought suppression. In a Praetor fortress dedicated to this insidious purpose, they emerge more intellectually docile than when they entered, perfect protectorate subjects. Such deplorable practices have spurred some to action. A protectorate support group on Free Market Station seeks to rehabilitate the mentally refreshed. Free Market Station is hosting a training group to help ex-protectorate subjects think for themselves, make them productive members of a true society. We should welcome our former colleagues, replace the empty promise of the paradigm with the verifiable veracity of the universal equation.
In closing, a potentially incomprehensible force invariably find a way to turn into positives.
Continuing as predetermined. Consistency in your work is wonderful. Consistency in playlists is not. Now for a new song.
They never questioned, never doubted. Their zeal never lacked.
2.7 Kelvin, if truth be told.
Scientism is a fieldly research double blind.
The very fact we found each other boggles the undisciplined mind. I can count on you, you can count on me. Geometric harmony, when our theories are challenged,
When we stand up peer review,
you can count on me, and I
Let me handle this.
on you. Colleagues can be cold, but academia's always you taught me scientific ways, even insisted not foresee.
two heavenly bodies never ever
Shut my feelings to 100 degrees.
There it is. The rift modulator. Surely it can't be that easy, just taking it.
Holding back so the feelings that scientism
we rise above.
we be
avenue for escape.
I can count on you, you can count on me.
We're the golden ratio of geometry. When we start a peer review,
You can count on me, and I can count on you.
As determined, you're listening to Grand Plan Wireless for transpiring events, philosophical profundities, informed insight into the future, also music. Prepare for profundity. The moment's at hand for another installment of Ask a Vicar with Vicar Meg Sai Sai. A listener asks, why did the order split from the Protectorate? Well, this is certainly a well-worn question. Must be from a fresh Auntie's Choice convert or the like.
Oh, always eager to cover old ground for a new student. The principal reason for our schism, of course, was the Protectorate's abandonment of reason. Or more specifically, their warping of the matriarch's vision. Idealism rooted in scientism. Presiding Bishop Ruth Bassar recognized this early. Empirical evidence was copious. We parted ways with the Protectorate just as Auntie's Choice began their invasion of Arcadia. An invasion we predicted, yet it took our Protectorate colleagues by surprise. Clear proof the sovereign had lost sight of the grand plan, that he'd become encumbered by delusions of godhood, distracted by grief, obsessed with the rifts. He failed to foresee the real threat of corporate incursion, while his consul increased the browbeating of their subjects into ideological submission. Without the guidance of the grand plan and the matriarch's original vision, the Protectorate was lost. We did not abandon them. They abandoned the plan.
Stay tuned for what follows. And now, more music to perform advanced calculations by.
it's not enough to say you think so without defending your position. We won't accept a hunch or feeling, an idea based on intuition. Prove it, yes you must prove it, prove it, prove it, prove it, just deduce it. A proof is a deducible argument that removes any confusion. For a mathematical equation, logically guaranteeing the conclusion. Using inference and logic to cover all the bases, and with reason and deduction, so it's always true in all possible cases. Prove it, yes you must prove it, prove it, prove it, prove it, just deduce it. Prove it, yes you must prove it, prove it, prove it, prove it, just deduce it. Show us how it works. What's a basic proof? Let's show how it works.
subtle...
Very prove it, prove.
Yes, you with the rift modulator. I've made the intercom available. It's not every day that someone is fool enough to break into the Interstitial Reconfiguration Center. I'd be obliged if you would regale me with the tale of how you managed to get this far. Oh, really? Which one? Act glib if you like. All you've done is illustrate the need for more invasive auditing of my person. Well, there will be time to scrutinize every angle of this breach at a later date, once I have dealt with you. I could also reduce you to a state of quivering agony, begging for death. And that would be a lot more enjoyable for me, if I'm being candid. No matter. I will await you in the hangar, where bullets may fly more freely than words, if you survive that long.
Ask a vicar, especially with today's proverbial doozy of a query. A listener asks, I ain't got time to suss out the difference between the grand plan and the universal equation. Now let's turn to Vicar Magsasai for
Prudence
the answer.
dictates, I inquire.
First, based on the vernacular of that question, and it's not even a question.
Threat detected.
Armed and ready. Looking a little woozy there, Commander. Little pick-me-up for you. Enemy
Fast reload! Just as the paradigm predicted.
No need to squander cogitation on a lengthy preamble for this installment of Ask a Vicar, especially with today's
Threat detected. Passage deployed. Bring energy if you can reach it.
No doubt a cast-off from their consumeristic society, what they might call a lung leech. To this listener, I say, welcome. We vicars are always gladsome to educate the ignorant and to maximize comprehension of our new corporate friend. I shall present my answers using as few syllables as possible in the lingua franca of Auntie's choice. Product placement. I've just upended a box of across my work desk. It's one of Auntie's Choice's more digestible products. Addictively edible. Difficult to consume just one. The crunchy morsels scattered yon and hither represent the fundamental building blocks of the universe. To the layperson, this random scatter of purple matter looks chaotic. But we in the Order see the underlying structure, the math beneath the mess. Every artificially flavored berry on my desk did not settle in...
As of this morning's demonstration, we have finally proven my central thesis. Matter within the rifts is not permanently destroyed, broken down into pure information. This confirms many of our theories about the rift to an overwhelming degree, including the potential to restore this information, albeit imperfectly. I expect the Sovereign will be most pleased. I'm scheduled to meet with him later today to discuss my findings more in depth. Note to self, impress upon the Sovereign the risks of this research, lest he insist on attending the next demonstration. I surely cannot rely on Valancourt to do his actual job.
or will ever be. Not only will we predict reality, but control it. We will ascend to godhood.
Keep it. Much is left to come. Avid followers of our predictive playlists are already aware of which song follows. Interested in receiving our weekly selection of mathematical clues? Visit your local predictory.
I input every integer of an intimate connection into a computronic system, would my punch card face rejection? Love does not compute. The variables seem infinite. Love does not compute.
Chose light instruction.
It's both clear and ambivalent. Love does not compute. Has mass, and thus exerts attraction.
Looks like a fight. Yeah.
Crush beneath abstraction. Can I calculate truth or assumption? Where does love fit in a constant function? Love does not compute.
Sovereign never seemed especially perturbed. Frolic, prance, and change your heart's reasonable
Customers about.
It's only for celebrating the downfall of our enemies.
Armed and ready. Lay low, Commander. Medic's orders.
Love does not compute. Love does not compute. Love does not compute. Love does not compute.
You have tuned your receiver to Grand Plan Wireless. We verify before we amplify.
Above average scientists acknowledge the value of canter dust.
The uncountably best salt substitute from the Order of the Ascendant. Ever bear in mind we are molecular beings. Our bodies a tuft of atoms, our minds a result of chemical reactions, our lives predestined along paths clear only in retrospect. And now a song from a composer predicted to have 3 well-liked melodies and become allergic to water this year.
The color of space. A chromospectral analysis. When asked about the average color of space, the famous stellar cartographer Newton Otisgard replied, no hesitation, beige.
Unexpected sight and
New experience
sound.
he was a big drunk. His answer was the expected.
Do you suppose there's been another incident? Like the one with the Sovereign?
No. It seems...
Let me handle this.
White or simply a shade of gray? No. No, it was not. The answer is
Commander,
a sign
throwing
of
energy
how
your way.
hot objects absorb and emit light. Of why there are no shooting stars. To understand
Anyone else? I'm here on that grenade!
understand the basics of the typical piece of non-heated absorbs most electromagnetic radiation that falls upon it, including light, infrared, and radio emissions. And the matter reflects only part of that radiation. The visible part of that reflection is its color. however, most stellar objects.
Stand to function. Love does not.
You seemed especially perturbed. You know what Prudence always says. Stand shimmy to your heart's reasonable abandon? No, that's always to celebrate the downfall of our enemies. This temperament can hide in plain sight.
Liquidator! You got company, Commander.
Ammunition depleted.
Yeah.
Love does not compute. Love does not compute. Love does not.
Huh.
Love does not compute.
That song was odd because it is the number 3 song this week. And now a song that is predicted to have 3 well-liked melodies and become allergic to water this year.
Perfect society lockdown. Do you suppose there's been another incident? Like the one with the Sovereign?
No. It seems we may have been intruded upon during the Consul's announcement. I heard it from one of Valancourt's men.
Let me handle this.
Taking cover.
A gift from the Consul! Reviving me is strategically optimal.
Sustain.
Away!
Lost track of them.
We are duty bound to stop them.
A perfect society demands perfect thoughts. Imperfection is impossible in the mind. But appreciate if you cleared out.
It's a brawl. Yeah. Stun weapon ready, Commander. Energy capacitor out. Energy is up for grabs.
Contact lost.
Back in business.
I repudiate all vapid commercialists.
Armed and ready. Looking a little woozy there, Commander.
this intellectually stimulating episode of Notable Locations of Scientific Inquiry, we contemplate the colossal. A computronic construct so powerful, it requires a planetary mass ice ball to both house its analytical engine and cool it to 274.24 Kelvin. Bundle yourself in cold weather outerwear as we visit Elysium's Ice Moon Cloister, home of the Archive. This miracle of decipherative machinery was engineered by the first bishop and the patriarch herself, so we could harness its predictive powers to unravel the universal equation.
Yeah, it's my professional opinion that Valancourt's got issues. This manner of tidiness is compensating for something.
Sister banks, logic assemblies, quantifiers, re-dequantifiers. The Archive's core assembly lies within the Ice Moon's inner mantle, where 2.7 billion thermionic valve switches perform the nitty-gritty of Boolean data calculation. Such processing generates tremendous heat, which is dissipated by the thermal transfer system. 4,367.89 kilometers of feed and return pipes circulate coolant between Cloister's subsurface seas and the core assembly. When in operation, the core would turn molten in 1.8 minutes without thermal transfer's consistent hydraulic pressure of 3,300 psi. Fortunately, this system is foolproof. It would take deliberate human intervention to operate the Archive without the thermal transfer system. But who would act so irrationally? Input commands are complex punch cards that process information stored on.
Having that device nabbed on his watch nigh guarantees Valancourt a long stay and mental refresh. Matriarch's blessings on you. I'll lead us to the restricted wing now. Once.
Better. It's scientism. Alas, the facility has slipped from our computational control, a loss not only for scientism, but all of humanity. It is imperative that we recover the Archive and resume its great purpose, solving the universal equation, so we will inevitably achieve ascendancy.
Addendum?
There's the sorry excuse of interstitial reconfigurating matter that claimed my arm. Let's open the hood, shall we?
1,367.91 kilometers.
Rifts reconstitute matter in an imprecise manner, but use your imagination to conjure the original scene that could lead us to the evidence we need.
Warning, the following song mentions some actions that are improper, something your fractions should never be.
Probability and the grand plan. There can be no discussion of the grand plan without also entertaining a deep contemplation of probability. Our ability to predict events to varying degrees of certainty is fundamentally rooted in statistical mathematics. Statistics, at its heart, is not but data. Data that is gathered, collated, and subjected to analysis. But what is the role of chance in that analysis? Let's look at the interpretation of pure chance. If one flips a perfectly balanced coin, it will land on heads with a 1 in 2 chance, or tails with a 1 in 2 chance. But are there really two outcomes? Is there not one specific outcome we can determine?